U.S. Representative Jason Crow in Budapest. I'm extremely concerned that Orb.N is calling the United States an adversary.
Here's a summary of the article.
I'm extremely concerned by the rhetoric of your Prime Minister. Calling the United States an adversary, implying or even saying directly that NATO member states are responsible in whole or in part for the conflict in Ukraine. Saying that United States or NATO provoked Russia. U.S. Representative Jason Crow told Telex during his visit to Budapest to express his concerns about the rhetoric of the Hungarian government and to push for the parliamentary ratification of Sweden's accession to NATO. These things are just not true, not supported by the facts. The only reason this war is happening is because Vladimir Putin decided to invade Ukraine, period, Crow declared. Crow arrived in Budapest on Wednesday and has spent the past 2 days in talks with government and opposition politicians, including Deputy Foreign Minister Levente Magyar and the leaders of the main opposition parties. The Hungarian government has not communicated to me any reason why the Swedish accession shouldn't happen now, Crow said. Telex also asked Representative Crow about the United States' recent decision to limit the visa waiver program for Hungarian passport holders. Despite several polls indicating that a majority of American voters do not support the U.S. sending more money and military equipment to Ukraine, Crow says there is significant support for the cause in America. Crow says there should be a more clear roadmap articulated of what Ukraine needs to accomplish to achieve NATO membership. Crow returned to the United States on Friday, but just before he left, another leading American politician, Senator Tom Cotton, arrived in Budapest.
This post received a score of 5,500, with an upvote ratio of 97%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
Guess who is Viktor Orban's lobbyist here in the US? None other than Dick Carlson, father of Tucker.
Dick Tucker. Some people just want their children to suffer sad face.
His sons are named Tucker Swanson Carlson and Buckley Swanson Carlson. Sons or law firms?
Orban was bought and paid for by Putin a long time ago.
Undermining NATO and the EU's social order in one fell swoop.
It always amazes how they never thought of a mechanism to kick out a member in case it would have collapsed to nepotism.
Time to get rid of this bloated Putin puppet.
He was elected, 5 times, unfortunately, that's on the Hungarian people.
Once he removed their constitution and replaced it with one that keeps him and his cronies in power, it has less to do with Hungarian people. Their EU membership should be reviewed.
Also their NATO membership. You are free to choose your friends but live with the consequences.
What are the processes for expelling a member of the EU or NATO? Does it require a simple majority of members to vote to expel? Or does it require a supermajority?
There are not really any viable mechanisms for either, in Hungary's case. The EU could more easily cut off their funding than boot them.
If Orban continues to push further and further into totalitarianism, NATO could probably invoke Article 2 and kick him out. It would be a legal fight for sure. But it's pretty straightforward in its language that nations need to strengthen their free institutions as a requirement for membership.
I think it's fairly obvious that this is Putin's new strategy for ripping NATO apart. Trump didn't get it done, so Plan B is having Hungary turn NATO members against each other by gumming up any possible actions and pointing the fingers at other NATO members.
If that's his Plan B, then it's pretty shit. Hungary is not a major NATO player.
It's like the difference between losing your engine, America, and your hubcap, Hungary. Yeah, the car doesn't look as nice, but it will function fine.
Comparing Hungary with a hubcap is pretty generous.
If NATO didn't add a provision to remove openly hostile members, that's on them.
There's already a measure to remove treaty members. It's found in the Vienna Convention on the Law of Treaties, and is just as applicable to the NATO treaty as any other.
Unanimous agreement was a bad move.
It's pretty clear from the Article 1 quoted that unanimous agreement excludes the defaulting state from the vote. In any event, if every other state voted to kick Hungary, or Turkey, or whoever, out, then what possible remedy would Hungary have? It's not like there's any mechanism for them to enforce their rights. Is Hungary going to take every other nation to court?
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes. and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.